The following is a production of Learfield Sports.
After beating Arizona State twice for its first 2 wins of the season, the Wisconsin Badgers prepared for a trip to Grand Forks to take on the top-ranked team in the country, North Dakota. And freshman goaltender Matt Jerusik was rather prophetic about the trip to Grand Forks.
I think we can hold our own against anyone in college hockey right now.
Well, Wisconsin went into Ralph Engelstad Arena and beat top-ranked Nodak 3-1, ended up splitting the series. We'll talk more about it with head coach Mike Eaves in just a moment here on the Badger Hockey Digest.
The Badger Hockey Digest is brought to you by Charter Communications.
Well, Mike, it certainly was exciting this past weekend in Grand Forks, and that Friday night game, beating the top-ranked team in the country 3-1. You played a fantastic team game all the way around, I thought.
It was, we needed to. When you go into the number one team's barn and you're trying to figure out a way to beat them, you have to play well in all areas, and starting in the net with young Matt Jerusik, he played very well. Up front, we scored some goals, and we scored some pretty goals. And then defensively, our defensemen did a good job of limiting the chances. We gave up chances, but they limited them, and we got out of our zone quickly, which is always a good thing. And as a result, we ended up finding a formula to win on Friday night.
Yep, and the goals that you scored, too, the first one on a rush by Aiden Cavallini, the fourth line, Corbin McGuire puts it away. The second one was just a beautiful pass play that started at the blue line, eventually ended with Luke Cunnin finding the back of the net. That proved to be the game winner, and then Adam Rockwood driving the defense down low and finding Jed Soloway right down the middle. I mean, kind of the way you draw things up, isn't it?
Well, those three were, usually goals in the game of hockey aren't that pretty. They happen once in a while. Most of them are gritty goals like Corbin's goal, but they did the right things, and we've been trying to get our young men, when they attack the blue line, to drive the puck down by the dot and get the puck below the dot and then make plays. And those two plays that you just described were both exactly what we needed to do. Get it down, get their heads turned around a little bit, and then find open people.
Yep. In that game on Friday night, it's 3-1, and Wisconsin got caught in some long shifts because North Dakota came out in the third period firing away. You knew that was going to happen. So how was your team going to answer? You did a pretty good job.
We did. Early in that third period, Matt was the answer for us. And then there was about a 6-7 minute period where we played down in their zone, and it got real quiet in there again. And then when they pulled their goaltender and they had that extra attacker, it was hard to get the puck and get it out, but we survived the storm, and that's what happens during games. There's push and there's pushbacks, and we found a way to survive their pushes.
Yeah, you mentioned the play of your defensemen, too. You've been using 6 here recently because the freshmen, Peter Tischke and Patrick Sexton, have both kind of grown up, baptism by fire, if you will. Patrick Sexton's a lot of fun to watch, number 4. You'll see him at the Kohl Center all season long. Here's a young man that made his debut at Ferris State. In his very first shift, he had a big hit, and that's part of his game.
I'm not the kind of guy that's going to come in and maybe run the power play, although I'd love to play power play. My job's to be solid defensively and finish every check and eat up some minutes so the older guys don't have to play as many hard minutes, and just do whatever I can to help the team win and help create energy. And if that's blocking a shot, throwing a big hit, whatever it may be, I'm happy to do it.
Yeah, Patrick brings that physicality, and it brought energy to the team at Ferris State. But not only has he played well, we've seen the development of Peter Tischke too, and it allows your veteran defensemen chance to catch their breath too.
No, we primarily went with 4 defensemen early. We didn't have Patrick Sexton right away because of some school issues and the NCAA issues, and then once that all got cleared up, he was able to jump in there. So Luke leaned on our 4 veteran guys heavily in our first games, and now we have the luxury that these guys are in. Peter's his confidence has grown, and he's able to give us some valuable minutes, and he had a huge hit on Saturday night. You can see that he can get from point A to get point B quickly, and he has some nice attributes, and why we recruited him. Now you see that confidence starting to grow, and he's becoming a contributor factor in that blue line.
Yeah, we'll talk more about the Badgers series in Grand Forks and look ahead to the upcoming series against Denver in just a moment.
Game night. That magical weekly gathering where lands are conquered, and you get trapped in the dungeon that is your bedroom. But you've got blazing fast Spectrum internet, so Kevin and his friends have enough bandwidth to play together, and you have enough left over to find a new apartment. Get 60 megabits of dragon-slaying speed with Spectrum Internet. Where will it take you?
This is Andrew Zielsdorf. He plays hockey. This is leukemia. It's bad business. This is Andrew's oncology team. They love Andrew. They don't like leukemia. And thanks to them, Andrew is now cancer-free. Booyah. They are the world-renowned physicians, scientists, and nurses at the American Family Children's Hospital, pioneers in pediatric cancer care. UW Health. Remarkable.
Beating the top-ranked team in the country, not an easy thing to do. That was awfully significant for this young program, wasn't it?
It was. It was what coaches will refer to as a signature win, because what it does is it gives your program and the players credibility. And the fact that you go into somebody else's barn, especially the number one team's barn, and you find a way to win. And I think for our young group that was really important, and that'll serve us well here, kind of a wake-up call that, as I was talking to one of the guys that works here in the Kohl Center, he says, well, if you can beat them, you can beat anybody, which is kind of a funny statement, but there's a lot of truth to that. So I think that's the mindset. We've set the bar now, and we've got to go back to that level. And as we said to our guys yesterday before their 8 a.m. workout, it's about getting better every day, and it started yesterday morning.
Yep, and you had a chance to beat them on Saturday, too. Unfortunately, Cameron Hughes, your top-line centerman, goes down with an injury. You had to scramble a bit, but it's 1-1 going to the third.
And that's, even being there at that time was significant for us, and we talked about that. As disappointing as it was after the game, losing it, the fact we were there knocking on the door, is a monumental task trying to win that game on Saturday. In the first 4.5 seconds, you lose your top center iceman, but the guys adapted, they battled, they scrapped, and they hung in there. And we almost were able to pull something out.
Yep, so then the Badgers have 2 weeks off before their next games. Denver comes to town, a nationally ranked team that's very, very good. It'd be great to see the Kohl Center have that atmosphere that we once saw, like they had at Grand Forks this past weekend.
It would, and I think there's a little bit more incentive. Like, these young guys have they've done something pretty cool. And I think that our fans come out and see what this young group has got going, because it's a different group, and they've got some confidence now, and they play with some pace, and we have a wider depth of skills. So it might be fun for folks to come out and see us.
Yeah, and Matt Tarusik, too, back to him quickly. It seems as if he's taken that number one job and run with it. He's only 18, as we've talked about, but he made one of the headsiest plays you'll ever see on that Friday night in North Dakota, where he had to come out and jump to catch a puck because your club needed a break.
He has come a long way in a short period of time, and there's still, if you talk to him, he says there's still areas that he needs to shore up, and working with Jeff Sanger every day, that's going to get better. But he's got a little swagger. He's got a little that stuff you can't describe that says, he's the guy for us right now, and that's good to have in your nets.
All right, well, Mike, appreciate your time, and best of luck against
Thank you very
Denver.
much.
That's Badgers head coach Mike Eaves. So Wisconsin and Denver, Friday, November 20th. That game will be televised by the American Sports Network. And then on Saturday, it's the 35th anniversary of the 1981 Backdoor Badgers, the national championship team. A number of those players will be back for a celebration. It's also a toy drive for Toys for Tots. You can get more information at UW-Badgers.com. And the Saturday night game against Denver on November 21st will be televised by the Wisconsin Public Television on the Wisconsin channel, so you can check that out, or you can listen to the Badger Sports Network if you'd like. For head coach Mike Eaves, I'm Brian Posick. Thanks for watching the Badger Hockey Digest.